Found out my husband was cheating. Here's my story and what I've learned. Hey everyone, I never imagined I'd be posting here, but I feel overwhelmed and need to share my story. Buckle up, it's quite a journey. Context: I'm 32, and I've been married to Danny, 34, for almost 7 years. We met in college and instantly connected. We were that couple everyone envied, seemingly perfectly in sync. Sure, we had our ups and downs, life isn't perfect, but I genuinely believed we were happy. Looking back, there were subtle signs. Danny started to pull away emotionally. He often came home late, claiming he was busy. He became secretive with his phone, closing apps as I walked by. I dismissed it as him needing privacy. After all, he had a lot on his plate. Classic overthinking on my part, right? Discovery. Last month, the truth hit me hard. While cleaning our home office, I found a receipt tucked away in a drawer dated a week prior from a restaurant I had never heard of. A pit formed my stomach, but I brushed it off. Perhaps it was a work dinner. Then his behavior became increasingly odd. One evening, he was unusually fidgety. When I casually asked about his day, he stumbled over his words. I decided to check his phone while he was in the shower. I know, trust issues. What I discovered shattered me. Messages from a woman named Sarah filled with flirty emojis and plans to meet. It felt like a punch in the gut. Confrontation. When Danny emerged from the shower, I was a bundle of emotions, heart racing, hands trembling. I confronted him, showing him the messages and the receipt. His face went pale, and I could see him processing the situation. At first, he tried to downplay it. "It's nothing, just a coworker messing around." The more I pressed, the more defensive he became. "You're overreacting, you're being paranoid." But I wouldn't let it slide. I demanded the truth. Finally, after much back and forth, he admitted to seeing her a few times, but insisted it didn't mean anything. With each word he spoke, my heart broke further. How could he lie to me? The man I trusted most had betrayed me. Emotional fallout. In the days that followed, I felt a whirlwind of emotions. Shock, anger, heartbreak. I replayed our entire marriage, questioning everything. Was I blind? Did I ignore the signs? Self-doubt became my constant companion. Friends and family tried to support me, but how could I explain this? I felt so alone. I even considered reaching out to Sarah, thinking it might bring closure, but deep down I knew it wouldn't help. Decision. After countless sleepless nights and tearful talks with my best friend, I decided to leave. I didn't want to live in a world where I constantly questioned my worth. I filed for divorce, and the process was both liberating and terrifying. Danny begged for another chance, but the trust was shattered beyond repair. I realized I deserved better than half-hearted apologies. Reflection. Now, several months post-divorce, the healing process is a journey. I've focused on self-care, therapy, and surrounding myself with supportive friends and family. I've rediscovered hobbies I neglected during our marriage. If you're reading this and find yourself in a similar situation, trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. Don't let fear or self-doubt cloud your judgment. You deserve honesty and respect. I never thought I'd be where I am today, but I'm slowly finding my footing, and I know I'll be okay. Life's too short for anything less than genuine love. Thanks for reading.
Title: My husband cheated on me, and I'm still picking up the pieces. Hey everyone, I never imagined I'd be sharing something so personal, but I could really use some support and advice. Context: My husband and I have been together for nearly 8 years. We met in college, fell in love during late-night study sessions, and built a life together. We married 3 years ago, believing we had a solid partnership. Sure, we had our ups and downs, like any couple, but I thought we were in it for the long haul. Recently, I noticed some red flags. At first, they were subtle. He started coming home later, claiming work was busy. He became secretive with his phone, always keeping it face down and taking calls in another room. I brushed it off as stress. Work can be demanding, but something in my gut told me things were off. Discovery. The turning point came when I accidentally found a text while looking for his charger. His phone buzzed, and out of habit, I picked it up. The message read, "Can't wait to see you tonight." My stomach dropped. I opened the thread and felt my heart race as I scrolled through flirty conversations, emojis that pierced my chest, and a name I didn't recognize. Sarah. I spent the night awake, feeling like my world was crumbling. I tried to convince myself it was a misunderstanding, but deep down, I knew better. The next morning, I confronted him, my voice shaky but determined. "Who is Sarah?" I demanded, the words spilling out like poison. His face went pale, and I could see the panic in his eyes. "Babe, it's not what it looks like," he said, but his voice lacked conviction. Rage boiled inside me as I pressed for answers. He stumbled through excuses, trying to pass it off as a work acquaintance, but I wasn't buying it. "You're lying to me," I said, my voice shaking with betrayal. He finally admitted to the affair, but tried to downplay it. It was just a fling. It didn't mean anything. Shock morphed into anger. "How could you do this to me? To us?" I screamed, feeling the weight of our years together suddenly feel so fragile. In that moment, I felt a whirlwind of emotions: heartbreak, disbelief, and self-doubt. Questions flooded my mind. Was I not enough? What did she have that I didn't? I tried to rationalize it. Was he unhappy? Did I miss the signs? As the initial shock faded, a cold reality set in. I felt like I was standing on a precipice, needing to decide whether to jump or pull back. My heart ached for the man I thought I knew, but every memory felt tainted. Decision. After a week of sleepless nights and endless tears, I made the hardest decision of my life. I couldn't stay in a relationship built on lies. I told him I wanted a separation. He was angry, begging me to reconsider, but I was resolute. I needed to prioritize my own well-being. Moving out was surreal. I packed my things with shaking hands, haunted by memories of happier times. I felt a painful mix of loss and relief. Reflection. It's been a few months now, and I'm still healing. I've started therapy, which has been transformative. I've learned that his actions do not define my worth. I'm rediscovering who I am outside of that relationship and slowly rebuilding my life. To anyone in a similar situation, trust your instincts. If something feels off, don't dismiss it. You deserve honesty and respect. It's okay to prioritize yourself even when it feels impossible. I may have lost a husband, but I'm gaining parts of myself I forgot existed. Thanks for reading. I appreciate any advice or support you can share.
Title: I found out my husband was cheating on me, and I'm still picking up the pieces. Hey Reddit, I never imagined I'd be sharing my story here, but here I am. I'm a 32-year-old woman, and I've been married to my husband, Mike, for nearly 8 years. Like any couple, we've had our ups and downs, but I always believed we were solid. Or at least, I thought so until recently. About 6 months ago, things started to change. Mike began working late more frequently, claiming he was busy with projects. Initially, I was understanding. He's ambitious and passionate about his job. However, small things began to bother me.
When I asked to see his phone, he hesitated, saying he was concerned about privacy. The intimacy in our relationship began to fade. He felt distant, both physically and emotionally. I tried to dismiss it, convincing myself that life was busy and we'd find our way back to each other. Weeks later, my instincts urged me to investigate further. One night, I noticed his phone buzzing on the kitchen counter. I hesitated, but the name on the screen was a woman I didn't recognize. Sarah from his office. A knot formed in my stomach. I tried to brush it off, telling myself it was just a colleague. But then he started taking his phone everywhere, even into the bathroom. The final straw came when I accidentally found his laptop open. An email thread between Mike and Sarah revealed their plans to meet up. I felt as if I'd been punched in the gut. My hands trembled as I read the flirty messages filled with inside jokes I'd never heard. His affectionate tone made it clear this was more than just work-related. Confrontation. That evening, I confronted him. My heart raced, tears stinging my eyes as I laid out everything I'd discovered. "Who is Sarah?" I demanded, my voice shaky. He froze for a moment, his eyes darting around the room, then slipped into the defensive mode I'd seen too many times. "She's just a coworker. This is crazy," he protested, but I could see the worry on his face. I pushed harder, tossing the email on the table like a grenade. A coworker? Really? Because it seems like it's a lot more than that. His excuses turned into manipulation, claiming I was overreacting and imagining things. I felt breathless. My brain screamed at me while my heart wrestled with the remnants of love I still had for him. I wanted to believe him, but the betrayal hung in the air like a heavy fog. I saw flashes of anger and hurt on his face, but mostly, I saw a man desperately trying to protect himself. Emotional fallout. In the days that followed, I was a wreck. Each time I closed my eyes, I envisioned them together, sharing laughs and moments I thought were ours. Anger boiled within me, intertwined with heartbreak. Self-doubt crept in, whispering lies about my worth. Was I not enough? Had I lost my appeal? I turned to friends for support, and while they were wonderful, I still felt alone in my pain. I started therapy to navigate the chaos in my mind. I needed to decide whether to save my marriage or walk away. Each day became a balancing act of heartache and anger, often leading to sleepless nights. Eventually, I made my decision. I couldn't stay with someone who had shattered my trust. The realization hit me. Love shouldn't feel like this. I filed for divorce, and although it was the hardest thing I've ever done, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. I knew it wouldn't be easy. There would be financial implications and emotional scars, but I glimpsed a future where I could reclaim my happiness. Reflection. Months later, I'm still picking up the pieces. Some days are harder than others, but I'm learning to love myself again. I've taken up painting, something I had set aside for years. I'm finding joy in little things and surrounding myself with supportive friends who remind me of my worth. To anyone in a similar situation, trust your instincts. If something feels off, don't ignore it. You deserve honesty and love. Healing takes time, but you are strong enough to get through this. There's light on the other side, even if it seems dim right now. Know that you're not alone, and it's okay to prioritize yourself. Thank you for reading.